I still remember that night like it happened yesterday. The silence, the soft hum of a ceiling fan, and the distance that had somehow grown between us, even though we shared the same bed. Armin and I had been married for 8 years. We had built a life filled with routines, morning coffee, shared bills, polite laughter at family dinners. From the outside, it looked perfect. But somewhere between work deadlines and family expectations, something within us had gone quiet. We were no longer fighting, but we also weren't really talking. That night, something felt different. The world outside our window was wrapped in monsoon mist, and I stood near the balcony watching raindrops slide down the glass. The faint streetlight glowed through the droplets, creating tiny prisms of color. It was beautiful and lonely. Armin was sitting on the bed, flipping through his phone. His face was calm, but his eyes looked far away, as if he was searching for something invisible. I wanted to say something, anything, maybe about the rain, or about how I missed the way he used to look at me. But words felt too heavy. So instead, I turned off the balcony light and walked slowly toward the bed. The room glowed softly from the lamp beside him. The quiet between us was almost tangible, thick, like an unspoken truth neither of us had dared to touch. I lay down beside him, keeping a polite distance as I had done for months. He didn't move. For a long moment, we both just stared at the ceiling, lost in thoughts that never found voices. Then he sighed, not the tired kind, but the one that comes from somewhere deep inside the heart. "I miss how we used to be," he said finally, his voice barely a whisper. The words hit me harder than I expected. I turned to him, surprised. His eyes were fixed on the ceiling, glistening slightly in the light. "So do I," I replied softly. "I think we just forgot how to reach each other." He nodded, still not looking at me. Life got loud. We got quiet. It was such a simple sentence, but it summed up everything we had become. Two people who loved each other but had forgotten how to show it. We lay there for a while, listening to the sound of rain against the window. The rhythm of the drops was soothing, like a memory of a time when love didn't need effort. I thought back to our first year together, how we used to stay up late, talking about dreams and silly ideas, how he used to surprise me with small notes hidden in my purse, how I'd wait for him by the window when he came home from work. Somewhere, those pieces of us had faded. "Do you remember," I asked quietly, "the night before our wedding? You told me that no matter what happened, you'd always find your way back to me." He finally looked at me then. His eyes softened, tired but warm. "I remember," he said. "I just didn't realize how far we drifted." His words felt like a confession. And somehow, that honesty, that quiet admission, was the most intimate thing he'd given me in years. He turned slightly, and for the first time in months, our hands brushed. It wasn't planned. It wasn't even deliberate. But that small touch was enough to send a wave of warmth through me. I didn't pull away. Neither did he. There was something in the air, something sacred, fragile and real. It wasn't about desire. It was about recognition, about remembering that behind all the walls, there was still love waiting to be acknowledged. Without saying a word, his fingers found mine. They trembled slightly, unsure, as if asking for permission. I tightened my grip gently in response. That moment said everything words had failed to express. Apologies, forgiveness, longing, all of it flowed silently between our intertwined hands. We didn't rush anything. We didn't need to. The room was filled with quiet acceptance, a sense that maybe love doesn't vanish. It just waits patiently for us to listen again. The storm outside grew stronger. Lightning flashed, illuminating the room for a split second. In that fleeting light, I saw his face, open, vulnerable, and full of something I hadn't seen in a long time, tenderness. He reached out slowly and brushed a strand of hair from my face. The gesture was simple, but my heart raced with emotion. "I forgot how to talk to you," he whispered. "You're doing it now," I replied. He smiled, a faint, genuine smile that reminded me of the man I had fallen in love with. It wasn't a grand moment. It wasn't a scene from a movie. But it was real. It was ours. As the rain softened, the air inside the room grew still. Armin shifted closer, not in hunger or impatience, but in warmth. His arm brushed against mine again, cautious, tender. That closeness carried something words never could. Apology, longing, connection. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. In that gentle proximity, our silence became a language of its own, the language of shared history, of promises that had once been forgotten but never truly broken. I could feel the rhythm of his breathing slow, the rise and fall steady and calm. For the first time in a long time, it matched mine. I rested my head against his shoulder, feeling the beat of his heart under my cheek. It was strong, steady, like the rhythm of a life we could still rebuild. We stayed like that for a long time, two souls learning to be near each other again. He spoke softly after a while. Do you ever wonder if love changes, or if we just stop noticing it? I thought about it. I think it changes, I said. But maybe that's what makes it stronger. We just have to grow with it. He nodded slowly. I was afraid you'd stopped loving me. I never did, I replied. I just forgot how to show it. The silence that followed wasn't heavy anymore. It was peaceful, a silence filled with understanding instead of distance. The rain outside began to fade into a gentle drizzle. The faint smell of wet earth drifted through the open window, mixing with the warmth of the moment. We talked, quietly, softly about small things. Our favorite trips, the funny mishaps we used to laugh about, the nights we stayed up talking about nothing. Each word stitched another piece of us back together. He told me about how the pressure at work had changed him, how he felt himself drifting but didn't know how to reach out. I told him how the silence scared me, how I missed being seen. And in that conversation, without blame or bitterness, we found forgiveness. At one point, as the room fell silent again, he turned toward me fully. His hand rested lightly on my arm, steady, calm, full of quiet emotion. That touch wasn't passionate in the way people imagine love should be. It was deeper, an unspoken promise that even after years of wear and silence, something genuine still lived between us. In that single gesture, he told me everything words could not. I'm still here. I still see you. I still choose you. My eyes stung with tears, not of sadness but of relief. I placed my hand over his, feeling the warmth of his skin, real, familiar, and reassuring. The world outside faded, time slowed, and for that brief eternity, I felt seen again. We must have fallen asleep like that, wrapped in silence and honesty. When I woke, the first light of dawn filtered through the curtains, painting the room in soft gold. Armin was still beside me, his hand loosely holding mine. His face looked peaceful, not distant, not burdened. Just quiet. It felt like looking at him for the first time, as if all the noise of the past years had finally cleared, revealing the simplicity of love itself. When he stirred awake, he looked at me and smiled, a small, sleepy smile that carried everything we needed to say.